Is it allowed to go skydiving? And you said yourself, I know you're endangering your life, but I want to hear your answer. Which means that you know the answer. You're not allowed to endanger your life, especially when there's no purpose for it, other than just simply getting a rush. If you are a parachuter in an army, then you're doing it for the sake of protecting the people, fighting for the country, and so on and so forth. But to simply jump out of a plane or a mountain and endanger your life and increase your statistics of death is forbidden, because now at this point you've put yourself in a position where you are depending on a miracle. You're depending on a miracle, and you're not allowed to depend on miracles. The second thing is, the Gemara says, I believe it's in Masechet Avodah Zarah, says that the Malach HaMavet one time came to one of the tzaddikim, Yeshua ben Levi. And he says, you want me to show you what I do? He says, sure. So Malach HaMavet tells the guy, tells one of his soldiers, go do me a favor, go bring Miriam, the hairdresser, bring me her neshama. So the employee of the Satan goes and brings a neshama of a Miriam, but it wasn't Miriam the hairdresser, it was Miriam the baker. So Satan says to him, no, I didn't ask for Miriam the baker, I said Miriam the hairdresser. Okay, she's here anyway, fine, we'll take her too. So Yeshua ben Levi said, hey, Satan, what are you doing? How dare you? Who gave you permission to take her neshama? You said you're going to take the hairdresser. So apparently you had permission from Shemayim to take the hairdresser's neshama. What are you taking this poor baker's neshama for? You just killed her, that's it? You didn't get permission. He goes, no, don't worry, I got permission. He goes, how? He says, listen, this Miriam, the baker, she wasn't careful with the way she bakes. Every time she would take out the bread and the cakes from the oven, in those days the ovens were like entire rooms. She would enter her entire body into the room and endanger her body, endanger her life. Once you endanger your life, I got all rights on you. I got all rights to take you. Once you endanger your life, you don't care about your own life, I have a right to take you. So Yeshua ben Levi says, wait a minute, so what about all these extra, if she didn't endanger her life? She didn't endanger her life. What if she just lived a regular life? She didn't endanger her life, she watched her life like she's supposed to, which is a mitzvah from the Torah. You must protect your neshama, you must protect your body. What if she protected it? That means she would have lived another X amount of years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. He says, yeah. He goes, so where do all those extra years go? You just killed her, she's 25, 30 years old. She was allotted 7 years in the world, meaning that there's 40 years more than she was supposed to live. What happens to those 40 years? Malach HaMavet says to him, don't worry, Yeshua ben Levi, those 40 years, we give it to a tzaddik. We give it to a tzaddik. He goes, yeah, but this tzaddik, he benefits. He was supposed to only live 40 years. Now he's going to live 80 years. But what about this Miriam? She was supposed to live another 40 years of mitzvot. She's now missing out on reward too. He says, that's why we give it to a tzaddik. We give it to a tzaddik. Why? Because we gave him her years, every one of his mitzvot count towards her also. So yes, she lost life because she's not careful, but she doesn't lose any reward. But still, who wants to die early? Point is, Rabotai, you're not allowed to endanger your life. How'd you like that answer?
Follow up. Shouldn't smoking cigarettes also be like banned? It gives you a rush, but it kills you. I feel like it's worse than skydiving because you're going to get something wrong with you. You're going to get like cancer. You're going to have like your teeth fall out. I feel like it should be banned. Like, why isn't cigarettes as severe as skydiving?
So why isn't cigarettes as bad as skydiving? Well, first of all, cigarettes are forbidden for anyone who doesn't smoke. You have a mitzvah in the Torah that says, "Ushmartem et nafshotechem." You must protect your body, you must protect your soul. And when you smoke a cigarette, or you jump out of planes, or you put your life in danger in any way, you are violating the Torah. So if someone is a non-smoker, it's forbidden under all conditions for them to begin. But even if they continue smoking, because they're addicted, it's still definitely not a mitzvah. But there are some leniencies to people that are addicted to it, in a sense that it's not considered the same level of sin as one that is starting out from scratch knowing that he's not allowed. Needless to say, it's not a mitzvah. Needless to say, it's not Ritzon Hashem, it's not the will of Hashem, which is the reason why after over 20 years of smoking, I stopped smoking, even though I didn't want to stop smoking. I liked smoking. But once I found out this is not the will of Hashem, I had to stop. The point is that it is forbidden. It is not allowed. But why is it not completely banned and completely forbidden like skydiving, which is the third question? The reason why is because even though smoking is bad for you, it's not an immediate effect. You're going to smoke a cigarette, it is extremely unlikely to the point of impossibility that the person is going to get cancer after one cigarette. But it is very likely that the parachute will not work after one time, or 100 times, or 20 times. Doesn't matter how many times you jump out of a plane or some mountain. The likelihood of the parachute not working, or the wind being too strong, and in essence your life being in danger is just as great no matter how many times you jump out of a plane. Whereas the cigarette is a gradual effect. So it's not as bad. It's terrible, it's awful, it's also disgusting to everybody that's around you. You smell terrible when you smoke cigarettes. I never knew how smelly I was until I stopped smoking. But the point is that it's not the same level of sin. Why? Because one is immediate risk, one is gradual risk. Next question.
Even if the gradual risk
it's still not good.
Is higher than the immediate risk. Because I've asked the rabbi before about skydiving, and he said, since the chances of actually dying, like I'm not just saying wingsuit, just like regular skydiving, since the chances of dying from like a chute failure are actually so small, it's not even considered a risk. Like it is a risk, but it's just not big enough to be like. Wouldn't swimming then be like against the Torah because like you could like swimming in the beach because you could get stuck in a rip current and like.
No, but again, the first of all, I don't know where that rabbi got that. The statistics are very small of failure of skydivers. I mean, that's not exactly accurate. It's not exactly accurate, but put it this way: if skydiving was the only problem that Am Yisrael had, I wouldn't even mention anything about it. I wouldn't mention anything about it. I tell all you guys, you know what, guys, let's go skydiving. Why? I'm never going to skydive. I'm scared of heights. But I'll tell you, let's go skydiving. If that was the only problem Am Yisrael had, I'll tell you, let's go skydiving. Why? Yeah, we'll take a risk. But the reality is this is the smallest problem we have. Why am I mentioning all this elaborate stuff? Because you have to know that there's a rule. There's a value of a life. And you're not allowed to endanger it for nonsense, just to get a rush. You're not allowed to endanger it for no reason. Why? Because the biggest rush that you're supposed to have in your life is when you're learning Torah. You're not supposed to get a rush from something external, such as jumping off of mountains, doing wheelies on bicycles and bikes and so on. It's good. You can have a good time. You can go climb a mountain. You can go rafting. You can do all that stuff. Have fun. But don't do something that's outright dangerous and literally depends on a miracle. Value your life a little bit more than that. Value it as if you have 3, 4, 5, 6 kids waiting for you at home. Because technically, you have a lot more, even though none of you have kids here. At least the young ones. None of you have, hopefully. You have kids? None of you have kids that you know about yet. But anyway, point is, you don't have any kids, right? But you have to worry about as if you have 50 kids at home. Why? Because one day you're going to get married, B'ezrat Hashem. Right? You're planning to get married, or you're going to be single for the rest of your life? Single? Okay, so everybody except him. You going to get married one day? Okay, one day you're going to get married. B'ezrat Hashem, you're going to get married. B'ezrat Hashem, you're going to have more than just a dog. You're going to have kids, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 17 kids. You're going to have something, right? Now those kids are going to have kids. Those kids you have, they're going to also have kids. They're going to want the same thing as you. If Abba had 3, 4, 5 kids, then the kids are going to want 3, 4, 5 kids. So guess what? Those 3 kids, they're going to turn into 9 kids. Those 9 kids, 27 kids. Those 27 kids to 90 kids, and so on and so forth. Guess what? You have 500 kids. You go up to Shemaim, all the mitzvot of all those 500 kids, all the avirot, depending on how you led them, depending on how you influenced them, they'll count for you. So you have to think about, wait a minute, am I willing to risk the mitzvot of 500 people that are going to follow me? Would I do it if I knew I have 500 little kids waiting for me at home? No. Okay, so why should you do it now? That's in essence the mindset of somebody that is trying to stick to what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from you. Yes. Yes, if you could give